ask you to present yourself really quickly while looking into the camera, and then after that, always look at me.
Okay. What do you want me to?
Just your name and what you're studying, actually.
Okay.
Oh, just 1 second. So I don't make any more noise.
Okay. My name is Sara Interview. I'm studying the LUMES program.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
That's good. What do you think is 350.org's objective?
To make people come together, to mobilize people all over the globe, to create a better future, I think, a more sustainable and just future.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think, how is their strategy to achieve that goal?
To mobilize people in local communities to try to gather as many organizations as possible during one banner or one common goal. Mm-hmm. Really.
Mm-hmm. And how do they frame their message? Like, how do they present it?
You mean in?
How do they, like, for example, do they say climate change? We have to tackle it because it's bad for the economy, or it's bad for the environment, or how do they reason for it?
They usually say that it's for the planet and the people. So they want to assure a more just future for everyone, with the focus on the global south often, and I think the justice part of it is a big aspect, a big focus.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that? Like, where do you get your information from about 350.org and their goals and objectives?
I'm actually a translator for 350, so I translate between English to Swedish, so I get a lot of information by doing that. And then their webpage, of course, and the fossil-free campaign, which I'm involved in, and social media, stuff like that.
How do you communicate with 350.org?
In general, I don't communicate with them directly. It's more via fossil free. But then, since I work as a translator, I communicate with them through email.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how is leadership organized in 350.org?
You mean the structure of the...
Like organizational structure, or structure of the movement?
I actually don't know the specifics. I think there's some kind of global coordination team, and then it's divided into regional coordination teams, such as for Europe, North America, and then more on a country-based country-based team as well. And then they just try to gather as many different organizations as possible when they have a campaign. For example, Global Divestment Day, or People's Climate March, or People's Climate Mobilization in September, and so on.
Mm-hmm. And how is leadership organized in the Fossil Free campaign?
That's very loose as well. It's since it's more of a campaign. We get funding from 350, not a lot, but some funding, and then we just get some directives and just inspiration and ideas. But then it's basically just we have free reins, really. So we don't really have that strong leadership in that campaign. It's the Swedish coordinator who we talk to, really. sometimes, and she says, okay, you can get 500 crowns for this, or go with this sentence instead of this sentence when we do press releases or stuff like that.
And how is it organized within your group? Like, how is leadership organized in the Lund group?
That's also very loose, and it's very different. We have some people that are more involved and more active, and they naturally they take on a more of a leadership role than others. But we don't have anyone that's appointed a chair or any leader or anything like that. It's basically we just try to do stuff as flat as possible. Really.
What is Bill McKibben's role?
You mean what I think his role is? Yeah. Well, he was the founder, one of the founders, and now I think he just draws attention to 350 and to the fossil free campaign, and just gives, since he is an old man, he kind of gives the movement a more what do you call it? I don't want to say a better reputation, but like old people.
Some wisdom.
Yes, kind of like some just it gives the movement a face outwards that people can trust, because I think it's oftentimes it's a no, I don't want to say a problem either, but it's a problem that people don't trust young people in general. They think it's it's a youth movement, or it's just these teenagers or just these young people doing this is not really important through that. But when you have like older people like him, you get I guess you get more trust from the public. Mm-hmm. And he is very knowledgeable and very, very convincing, so I think he's
Mm-hmm. And could you imagine 350 without Bill McKibben?
I guess, but it wouldn't be as big, I think, or as successful, but still, he was one of the founders, but I don't think the organization relies on him, really. He doesn't run it now, he's just a face outwards, I think.
Okay. In what way do you feel that your local group is involved in the strategy of 350?
You mean in deciding the strategy or following the strategy?
No, deciding.
Not that much, really. We just do our thing, really. And I guess we follow 350 strategy, but not that explicitly, and we don't really think about it. We just go, and we focus on our teeny tiny part of it, our small campaign. So no, we're not really involved in deciding anything.
Okay. And which meaning does the organization or the movement have for your local group? Like, do they facilitate, or do they?
Yeah, definitely. We as I said earlier, we get some funding, so which helps when we want to do like events or actions, demonstrations, and stuff like that. And we also get coordination help, or like social media help. They post our events, or they post pictures from our events, or write about us, and so they help us get media publicity, and they have a lot of guides about how to do everything, really. How to tackle the media, how to organize an event, and yeah, etc. So you get a lot of tips and inspiration and ideas from them as well.
Mm-hmm. And on a, let's say, more global level, how would you see their role of the movement compared to the grassroots?
They're more like I think they're just coordinating, just trying to gather as many as possible and trying to steer, I guess, some sort of movement, or the movement towards some sort of common goal, I think. Because it's not a bad thing, but in per se. But I think that there are so many organizations, so many movements, and so many groups that have overlapping goals, but maybe not entirely common. But through an organization as 350, you can try to merge your goals even more and try to make them more into a whole, and just unifying the movement even more, I think.
Okay. How does the movement influence the forming of identity of your local group?
I don't know, really. Not that much, I think, but I guess we feel a part of the internationality of it, the globality, you can say that, of it. The fact that we're part of something that's even bigger. And it makes us feel more empowered, I guess, and more important, because we know that what we do doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in the context of a lot of other similar stuff going on in other places of the world.
And do you feel like they provide you values and like also guidelines for how your group defines itself? Or would you say that you developed as a group independently?
Yeah, I'd say we've developed sort of independently, I think. Because we've been very focused on just what we do here, and we don't really talk about or discuss 350 that much. More the campaign fossil free, but not really the values or anything of 350.
Okay. Okay, so we discussed this before a bit, but maybe you can add something if you want to. To which extent is your local group self-organized or dependent on the movement?
It's in terms of organization, it's independent and very self-organized, but it gets help from 350 and fossil free. As I said, funding and media and social media publicity, stuff like that. But otherwise, we don't really. We do our stuff, and it's often standing apart from 350, really, or we don't really. Yeah.
Okay. So would you say that you have a lot of freedom in your decisions?
Yeah, I guess so, but at the same time, fossil free is a very it's a very narrow goal, really. It's one as a very, very specific goal, and if we can't really stray from that goal because it wouldn't really make sense. So no, it's what was the question again? Sorry.
If you feel that you have a lot of freedom in your decisions.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we do, but we don't really take that big decisions really, because since the goal is so specific, the decisions aren't that big really.
And do you make use of that freedom, or to which extent do you make use of it?
I guess it's just in the way that we organize. We don't have to check everything with them before. We can just do our thing, and that's it feels good, because we know that we don't really answer to anyone. We just do what we want to, but it's still, again, since the goal is so specific, it's still going to be within the guidelines or within the strategy of 350.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay. And would you wish for more or less freedom?
I think it's fine as it is, actually. No, neither less nor more would be. Yeah.
And do you have any improvements in mind that you would wish for in the cooperation between 350 and your local group?
Maybe one thing I've been thinking about is that it would be nice with more communication between other local groups, and even groups within one country or within a region, Europe, for example, for the groups to meet and get to know each other and learn from each other's experiences, and some sort of meeting or meetup that would be organized by 350 or fossil free. Then
Okay. Whom do you address to become active members? So who is the target group of potential future activists for the local group?
It's students, but since it's fossil free Lund University, it's students and staff also, of course. But since it's focused on the university, it's mainly students.
Okay. I've got here those categories, which is called the 6 Americas. I don't know if you heard of it. It's like they have these 6 different categories, and it goes from people who have a very high belief in global warming, are most concerned, most motivated, and on the other end of the scale, the opposite. So what would you say, where do most people come from in the local group? Like, are they,
I'd say here, maybe. Between alarmed and concerned. Of course, we all believe in global warming, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here, or maybe no, I'd say here, alarmed. Yeah.
Okay, where would you put yourself?
Here as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's the number one problem of the 21st century, so yeah.
How do you communicate with potential members?
When we have actions and events, we try to get the message out that anyone can join us, and but it's often very limited in who joins, really. It's more like people from programs that are focused on environment, in like the Loomis program or the IIIE program, and then they bring their friends, and they bring their friends. So it's, yeah. But we try to get the message out when we have events as well.
Do you have any form of organizational language, words or phrases that are particular to your local group? Like, for example, we call ourselves blue mates, in like words like that.
Not really. I think we the campaign's been kind of up until last term. The campaign was pretty small, I think. They only had about 4 or 5 active members. And then, so it was kind of, yeah, the pace wasn't that high. And, yeah, they didn't have a lot of meetings and they didn't do that much stuff, I think. But last term, there were a lot of people from the Loomis program coming into the group and joining the group, and then some other people as well, and then it really, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any form of visual signs or symbols that are particular to your local group, like, and differ from 350's visuals?
Not really. When we make banners, we of course use our own phrases or we paint them ourselves, but we just generally use the fossil-free logo as well. But we don't have anything, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And who decides about the design of means of communication?
For a local group, or
yeah.
It's in general just we decide among ourselves. We discuss it, and then someone just draws it, and then it happens, really.
I have 3 more questions, which are really quick.
That's fine.
Okay. What does it mean to you that you're part of an international movement with those coordinated action moments?
It's it means a lot, I think. I feel more connected to other people doing the same, and I feel like I have higher hopes in for the future, or just because I know that I'm not alone, or that we're not alone. There are so many other people out there, so that connection is very valuable, I think.
Okay. And what does it do to you being part of this movement regarding your personal sense of hope for the climate?
It's strengthening my hope, really. It's yeah. Since we're so many, and when 350, I think, really succeeds in communicating that we are so many, and that really, that fills me with hope. It does.
And what about your hope for the climate regarding divestment campaigning?
I feel it's different from time to time. When Lund University says no time and again, I stop hoping almost. But then when you hear that, oh, maybe this municipality in Sweden is going to divest, and this university here divested, and the church of blah 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 divested, then you're like, okay, but it's a big movement, it's spreading, it's and so I do have hopes. Right now I do, at least.
And do you see yourself as an individual agent of change, or is it more your agency merges in that group?
In this as a member of this group, I don't see myself as an individual agent of change. I'm a more one of many that together create change. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to add? Tell me, information, topics.
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Then, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.